get an introduction to different ways to move. Today we're going to be talking about high-level movement and zones. I'm also very excited because I got special permission to use footage. So this will be the first time we've ever watched a YouTube video and reviewed matches on stream today. So I'm super excited to get started for this stream. But yeah. We're definitely going to be schmoovin' today. And we're going to be talking about different types of movement. Ew. Frieza. Ew. But today, I think we're going to have a really good time. Because we are going to talk about the basics of high-level movement. And it's going to be really fun. We're going to be talking about zones. We're going to be talking about the different types of movements, different movement patterns, like so. You know, super jump forward, back dash, forward dash, IEDs, how to use them. Today, I seriously think that if the game didn't make sense to you before, I feel like today is the day the game starts finally making a lick of sense. Nice. Oof. You can probably start utilizing 5S. Yes, pro tip about 5S. We will be talking about some stuff like this. I will be using reference material. I'm super excited about this. So, I'm super excited about this because I definitely am using a lot of, learn how to properly use barrier assisted neutral. I don't know if I would go that far. Today it's not going to cover all of neutral. This is the beginning of neutral. And you guys have to understand something. This is literally the single most complicated topic in the game. Like, this topic is so complex at this point that it would require so much work just to go over all of it. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to break it down into smaller parts. But I think this, coupled with the homework that you guys will be doing, this will definitely hold you over. And this is definitely enough for you guys to start seeing instant improvement in your game. This is going to be something that I think is going to be truly amazing. Meh, I wish. It would take more than 3 days is the only problem. Like, neutral, when you guys are going to start seeing what I mean when I say neutral is a very complicated, very complicated subject. But, whew. I missed my shot, but yeah, this is gonna be something. There is an answer. That's not necessarily true. There is an answer to it. Like the meta, the game is obviously changing. So even though the reference material that we're using is going to be reference material from Season 2. However, a lot of it still applies, but there are some brand new movement patterns that a lot of people are coming up with, like Wawa. You know, this was before the days of Moon Jump, for example, so it never covers Moon Jump. You know, the utilities of Moon Jump and how it affects the meta. Oops. It's gonna be something special. But yeah, no, there is an answer. There are answers, there are solutions, but like everything, it's going to be molded by the way that you guys like to play. And the way that you guys like to play is going to develop over time, and honestly, everyone plays a little bit different. So, we're talking about movement today. It's going to be really, really fun. A lot of you guys are familiar with the material that I'm going to use, but we're going to do something really unique today as well, which is why I'm so excited. We are going to be breaking down. We're going to start with an introduction to high-level movement from Damn Docta 100. Really, 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 really great material. And all honesty, I think it's probably the greatest material ever published in DBFZ as a resource. Like, I feel like material like that instantly raises the skill ceiling, in my opinion. So, please follow him at DAM Docta with an A, DOCTA 100. He's an amazing, amazing person, and he's given me special permission to use his material and go over it on stream. My only complaint is that because it's it's a video, it's gonna be straight and to the point. So it's gonna be basically our study guide, but I'm gonna go over in depth with everything that this has to do. You said if you're moving backwards with Bardock, then you're losing, right? Yes, I did say that, and I do agree. That's talking more about game plan and whatnot, and that's obviously an exaggeration. But what that means is that when you look at Bardock's tools, he travels forward, and his goal is to facilitate him traveling forward. Like, for example, like when you look at Beerus, for example, in comparison, the only thing he really has that moves forward in a meaningful way is this, but it's 2Hable, and this. I guess you could talk about this, but that's very easy to stuff. He's not as effective at moving forward as Bardock is. But however, if he could do this, if he can do this and play neutral this way with his tools, his game plan is going to be about not necessarily moving back, but more of like controlling the screen to influence your opponent's decision making. So like here, for example, if I do this and I'm just kind of sitting around, my opponent might want to super dash and then boom, 2H. The orbs are just there to essentially force a decision as well as provide a threat. Like, hey, I don't have to call this. I don't have to call this. And if they're not careful with how they move, it's a good way to check approaches as well. Oops. Not fast enough there. Meanwhile, Bardock, he has Lariat, he'll travel across the screen, he's gonna Key Blast to check you every now and again, but he's got tools for anti-air coverage, his EX move covers the entire screen and even crosses you up. It's insane. I play Zamasu, so the Key Blast button doesn't exist. Pain. That is actual pain, my friend. That is actual pain. I'm just gonna write a DM really quickly, just to let. Hang on. All right, let's see. Neutral is such a weird topic, It's so weird. But we're going to be talking about different ways you can move forward, different ways you can do things. And of course, I'm going to have the game open to review. But now that everyone's here, we have a pretty comfortable viewership, 15 people. I think we're ready to get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our... Let's see. Let me see if I can do this. Gotta set this up really quickly. Let's see, Windows capture. There we go. I'm gonna make sure everything is... There we go. Alright. I think that looks about good. And we're gonna watch this together. I think this is gonna be amazing. So, very, very quick video with a lot to talk about. Are we ready? Yep, you made it just in time, Alvin. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Let's do this.
Funny, I just realized that someone has conveniently removed the moon. Well, it doesn't matter. We have our ways. As a matter of fact,
You know, the OG DBFZ, or I'm sorry, the OG DBZ dubs from like the Ocean dubs and whatnot hit different, man.
weaponry on Rigel 7, and things were looking grim until your father did this. Your father was an average fighter.
That is the 5LL of a brilliant scientist.
Brilliant scientist.
He was a brilliant scientist. The 5LL of a scientist. This is such an elegant presentation too. I actually would prefer to, I wanted to go over this video purely because the power of video editing, I think, gives us ways to visualize stuff a little bit more clearly than just explaining it through voice. But I want to hold on this image right here, so that way you guys can think about zones. Because a lot of you guys are already pretty familiar with this concept and whatnot. But maybe you guys don't really understand how to break the screen down in a way that the zones make full sense. And I think this image is actually a powerful way to get it through your head about where it's like, all right, where do we want to be, you know? Very true. Neutral position. This is where most neutrals played, believe it or not. So before we get into that, I kind of want to stick on Zone 2 for a minute, because I feel like kind of glossing over it, we kind of lost exactly how potent that is to kind of really pay full attention to. But like Zone 2 right here is so critical to the flow of the game that it kind of affects a lot more than just simply you know, being where you play neutral. The reason why neutral is played here, I'm going to actually turn off all the displays, so that way we can just see a perfectly legible... no, let's just say on. But like right here, perfectly legible. But right here is so important, because at this distance, pretty much everything becomes significantly harder to react to. Like super dash is harder to 2H. Your pokes, you know, if you have a good normal reach here, this is harder to deal with. You know, this is, or rather, wow, Beerus' neutral is terrible. Like this now has a chance of reaching, like, and not only that, you can close it in with a jump in. It's so important to be able to navigate. Are zones a measuring field of your distance from your opponent? Yes. So, like, this is what we consider Zone 3. This was the safe zone that was being described earlier. This is Zone 2, about right here. This is where the majority of neutral is going to be played, and you will see this distance maintained by both players at high level. Someone with nearby permissions should clean up the footage post. All the links are smushed together. Yeah, I think that would be Sai if she's in the chat. If you can, please go ahead and make it a little bit more legible. I do want to shout this out for them first. It's very important to me that people actually subscribe to Damn Doctor. I think he goes by Forbidden Technique on YouTube. Very good YouTuber and very great content. So definitely keep an eye on him. But yeah, so this is basically where most neutrals played. This is where like full screen options like this, or in Beerus' case is this, becomes the most potent, because he can just do this and he can kind of harass you and do whatever he wants, and he kind of controls the screen a little bit. It's also where characters like Kefla really shine, because this is the fastest key blast in the game. She's got this. With a simple dash, she can close the distance pretty quickly. So if they actually approach her without her wanting to, she can actually snipe their landing. She can close the distance with her fantastic air buttons for air-to-airs. Like, she's holding it down, and she's having a great time. But what's very important is that in zone, like here, this is so important, because this is where most of your tools as a character are going to reach. Kefla reaches here with a normal. Like, that's insane. She's always ready on the attack. She can super dash. She can, she can harass you from right here. If you try to approach her and you're not careful, she could do this. She could do this. Like, she's got so many options here, and everything that she does is so much harder to react to in this zone that basically when people are like, wow, you have great reactions in neutral and whatnot, if you are able to maintain control of the situation and you're able to navigate neutral in this position, you are a very strong player, because this is where most of the game is going to be played. And I really wanted to kind of spotlight the importance of Zone 2, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about getting in and out of this zone. So I just wanted to highlight it really quickly to tell you guys of how important that was. Anyway, back to the main stream. We're going to talk about this now. Hopefully it should be okay. Yeah, there we go. So we'll definitely go into deeper depth of what he's talking about here, probably in later iterations. Like, I don't think we're ready to necessarily talk about this right now, but it is true that this is actually true that when you are playing your opponent, there are a lot of decisions that go into it that are intentional. Some of them are going to be reactive to your opponent, and then some are going to be preemptive based on their positioning and their tools. So that is very true, but that is a bit deeper than I think we're going to get into right now. So we'll hold that thought for later, but I'll let the video play out. That is very true. And this is the most important part of the video. This is so critically important. I literally cannot wait to talk about this, because I actually have a script right here. And the second thing is most common mistakes in neutral. And this is the single biggest mistake that if you guys can stop doing this, you will instantly start winning more games. And I mean like instantly. Like crazy. This is an accurate depiction of neutral in Zone 1. Getting out safely is your only goal in Zone 1. Very short, very to the point. I like that a lot. I think that that's very important, and I want to stick with that a little bit. This is the single most dangerous position to be in the game. And the reason why is because now most normals don't just reach. The most dangerous normals reach. If you make a move, if you do anything wrong, if you're not ready for what's coming, if you're slow on a decision, you could potentially be looking at a TOD. For those of you that don't know, that's a touch of death. That means they die in one combo from full health. You don't want to get hit by those. So this is not a good position to be in. And a lot of the time, the most common mistake I see is right here. You just jump in and then sit there and then wait for your opponent to do something. And you are literally just asking, hey, I don't like playing neutral, so just make me block now. So this is very, very important. You really want to get out of there. But here's the important thing to understand. Because here's something that Doctor, he implied, but he didn't really make a hard rule. I'm going to make it a hard rule. You should never enter Zone 1 unless you are aggressing. unless you are going to attack, do not enter zone 1. And by knowing you're going to attack, I don't mean, okay, well, maybe he's going to do something, so I'm going to do it. No, 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 no. You jump in with an attack. You call an assist, get in there, and you start attacking as soon as you can. That's the only reason you go into zone 1. You go into zone 1 to win neutral, and if you don't win neutral, and you're in zone 1, you probably lost neutral. Always keep that in mind. Never, ever aggress unless you are... Never, ever enter zone 1 unless you are aggressing. And if you're not ready to aggress, move back. So there are going to be some crazy opponents. Maybe they're a little bit of a crackhead. They're kind of like going crazy, and they're, you know, they're showering you with ki blasts and doing all this crazy stuff. That's fine. Just get out. Just get out of there. Be like, oh, okay, I want no part of this. I'm out. I'm out. Super jump forward. Super jump back. There are a lot of movement options that we'll go over. I don't care how you do it, as long as you make your goal. Okay, I'm getting out. And if your opponent, let's say, does something like... They're going to do that. Like, let's say they do that. Oops. Let's say they do that. Okay? It should look like that. That's what neutral... Yeah, see? Get out. Then if I'm ready to attack... See? See? Getting out. And then I go into zone 1 to attack. That is your goal. If you can maintain that distance between you and your opponent and get into zone 1 on your terms, while also not letting them get into zone 1, congratulations. In a very simplified way, you've won neutral. That is the goal in neutral if you were to distill it down into a sentence. You get in on zone 1 on your terms. You do not let them get in on zone 1 on their terms. It's that simple. Top Tie says, I really like that video, maybe because I think I had to naturally learn some of this with Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, since he does terrible in zone 3. Yeah, no. Like, one of the biggest things about Gogeta and certain characters like him is he is very good at keeping you out from approaching. You do not want to be here. This is not good. Oh, hey, Heartburner Hannah's in the chat. If you can do me a slight favor, is it possible for you to clean up the links just a little bit so that way they're a bit more distinct? That way we can make sure that they, proper people get their shout out. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, if you're not ready to aggress, you do not want to be in this zone. This zone is a no-no. You want to maintain zone 2. Because zone 2, it's kind of like footsies in a way, where you're within your opponent's range, but they're also within your range, and you're also capable of backing away and punishing their attempts to get in. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when it comes to zones, that is the most important thing. Zone 3, this is your zoning range. If you are a zoner, you do this. You use ki blasts like this to check approaches, because from here, if he does something like this to punish my zoning, see, that's dangerous. Oops. So let's do this. See? I can kind of keep him from coming in, and I can block in time. I can block in time. More importantly, if I have good reactions, I can 2H. And if I'm particular characters, like, say, Team Gohan or SSJ Vegeta, you could 2-1-4L, which is an anti-air DP, and you could actually net a really big punish. I always use 2 Ki Blasts for max SD bait. You could do that. Some Ki Blasts have a lot more recovery, but you also don't just want to use this for zoning. You also want to use this to control space. This is to deny them entry into the other zones, so you can do this. with probably a better assist than that. But the whole goal is you don't want your opponent to approach recklessly. That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. So, to kick us off before we start going over basic movement, we're going to go over some very common mistakes. I've already touched on one, which is a lot of you guys will not be ready to aggress, and you'll just sit here. You guys will just, I'm playing neutral, I'm moving around, I jumped in, uh-oh, I didn't attack, I just entered zone 1 against Blue Goku. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh no. Let them know. The amount of times that whenever in my sub Discord and my Discord for subs, whenever they send VODs for me to review of their matches and whatnot, that is almost a #1 mistake I see. That is a #1 mistake I see. You don't want to do that because that's just gonna hit you too hard. Like, it's too risky. And then on top of that, you're only going to win. If you've ever entered a scramble situation, or what you would call a scramble situation, have you noticed that all scramble situations happen in zone 1? That, if you want to avoid a scramble, just follow the simple rule. Only go into zone 1 if you want to attack. If you're not going to attack, and by the way, when I mean go into attack, I mean you are committing to an attack. You are committing to punching your opponent in the face. That's the problem. So you want to be super, 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 super careful. Another issue that I see. It comes with assists utilizations. So this team is not really so great at it, so I'm going to use Gogeta. But the biggest thing that I see is people who do this. I see people calling an assist from full screen and then doing absolutely nothing with that assist. Some of you will call a beam and just hope it hits your opponent, and then they see the beam hit. Time to run up. This is a very, very common mistake. Not the run-up part, but the idea of just jumping aimlessly here. Just doing this. If you guys do this, you're not really playing neutral. If anything, you're free neutral. Because all Blue Goku has to do here is literally this. And boom, he hits you. Boom, he hits you. Well, maybe not like that, but boom, he hits you. Boom, he invalidated your neutral. There, he doesn't care about your assist. Bye. Does Zone 1 change size based on one's opponent? No, it doesn't. Different characters are going to have different requirements, and they're going to have different requirements and different ranges. For example, Gogeta can cross zones with a button. See, it's kind of, it's almost impressive. Obviously Beerus can transcend zones poorly. I mean, this is gonna get hit, but he can go full screen if you dash. And that's pretty crazy. Obviously Kefla does not care about your zones. The problem is that these normals are generally a commitment. Like, as nice as this is, you don't really want to whiff buttons in front of your opponent as a general rule. So you want to minimize that as much as possible. But yeah. People, the second biggest mistake is hanging back and doing nothing with your assists. How do we fix this? Well, we're going to go over that in the next section of this particular stream. But for now, the short answer is move forward. Even in something as simple as doing this. Oop, not that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But something as simple as doing this. Instantly better than just doing this. Because even if your opponent misses, like let's say Blue Goku's like, oh, you want to go? And then jumps up, I can air to air him. See? I can snipe his landing. I can sometimes hit him and try to go for a confirm. Like that. Oh, he's super jumped, that's why. Boom, air to air. I was trying to avoid super jumping because I don't want to cover that quite yet. But basically speaking, even if he dodges the assist, I am still making a forward aggressive movement towards my opponent. Which means that I am actually fighting for neutral. So, that being said, what's next? Another thing that I see, not surrendering neutral when you lost neutral. If you blocked an assist and your opponent's right here, so if that happens, you've lost neutral. It doesn't matter if you can reflect it. It doesn't matter if they have Key Blast block stun, for example, so they can guard cancel reflect. You have lost neutral. If you guard cancel reflect an opponent doing this, you're going to get 2H'd. If you guard cancel super dash. If you guard cancel reflect, you're playing the reflect mind game, because what happens if your opponent just does this? And then you whiff your second reflect. And if I'm Gogeta, and this spaces out most of your buttons, depending on your character. Like, look at this tip range. You're getting hit. And then the amount of time I see people press buttons after blocking an assist. If you block an assist and your opponent is in zone 2, rule of thumb, just fucking block. Either get ready to tech the DR that's coming, because some people like to do stuff like, well, not that, but stuff like this. Oh my god. Like this, for example, so be ready to tech the DR. But generally, if you blocked an assist, you're blocking. You've lost neutral. Now, you can make an exception, because you can reflect assists, and reflecting negates a lot of the block stun. Which means that if your opponent calls an assist, like let's say Kefla, and Kefla gets reflected, and I run up, Blue Goku can now just, nope. Nope. So you gotta be careful. That's another thing. Do not jump, because you are not plus. You are minus 25 when you block Kefla. You are minus 50 if you block Beerus. You are minus 40 if you block Yamcha. If you reflect them, you're not as minus, but you are still minus. It is still not your turn. And you need to understand that. You need to understand when you've lost neutral, and you need to learn to surrender neutral. If your opponent got in on zone 1 and you were not ready, and you don't think you have an attack that can stop what they're coming for because you were too slow on the draw, just block. Just hold back. Just hold back. Down, back, and back. Just block. Because it's too dangerous for you to do anything else. Remember, you don't know if you can escape cleanly in time without getting hit. Just block, because your only goal is to get out of zone 1. So make sure that you guys understand when your turn is, or when it's not your turn, and understand when you can and cannot get out of a situation. Just surrender neutral, and you will win a lot more, especially if you have good defense. The next issue is not maintaining distancing. So, kind of like with Blue Goku here, you know? Oops. Boom. I did not respect the distance, because I misjudged my distance and my attack. So, let's try that again. Oh, that time was my exchange. Because I'm maintaining respect and distance. I'm not just charging in. Oh, I lost the air-to-air exchange there. I won that one. The reason why that's important is because a lot of you guys will do this. I guess you could get away with it with Gogeta, to be fair. But in a real match, your opponent will see that and be like, I'm just going to call an assist and hang back. Yeah, I'm just going to bait your dumb move. I'm going to let you whiff buttons, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to kick you in the face. And the reason why is because you are not minding your distance. You are not maintaining zone 2. If we break down the movement interaction that I just had with my recording, notice how I'm maintaining my distance. So if I'm doing... See that backdash that I just did? Right there. I didn't catch him in time because I thought it was over. But yeah, right there, that backdash, that was instinctive because I felt him coming. And keep in mind, the patterns that I'm doing for movement are completely random patterns. I did not rehearse this in advance. To be honest, I don't even remember what I did. If you asked me to recite what I just did in neutral, I was actually reading the chat as I was moving around the screen. So, the way I reacted to my own movement is basically how I would react more or less in a real match. Not exactly, because basically the way you move can incite certain decisions. We'll talk about a little bit more proactive movement in later sessions, but the point is right now is I maintained and gave my opponent distance. So if I wasn't ready to attack and I noticed Blue Goku was coming in for an IDJH, I backdashed to try to create distance. And that is how you end up doing stuff like this. Like, that's a very, very good pattern. Backdash, jump forward. And also, you guys have seen me make use of this, because this controls a lot of space. So if you come into this distance, I'm going to hit you. If you're not ready, if you're trying to hang out in this distance, I can hit you. So you got to keep in mind that you need to stay just outside of your opponent's ranges while maximizing yours, and you want to get in on your terms. Most of you guys have heard of this. This is called... Surprise, you thought Dragon Ball didn't have this. Footsies. DBFZ has footsies. Crazy revelation, I know. But you need to play footsies with your opponent. Backdash, maintain optimal distancing while getting closer and baiting your opponent's options, so that way you can take advantage of the situation. This is incredibly important to keep in mind. So, to recap, so far, the biggest habits I see are entering zone 1 with not being ready, hanging back and calling an assist with no intention of moving forward, not moving forward properly. And by the way, when I say with no intention of moving forward, if I call Beerus, I'm trying to bait a Super Dash. Like if I'm doing a pattern like this, I'm baiting Super Dash. But if I'm just calling Kefla for no reason, and I'm just hanging back here, I can't do anything if my assists hit. I'm just wasting my assists. Exactly, meta. So, next one is not moving forward properly. We're going to fix that immediately. Not surrendering when you've lost neutral. Not maintaining distance. And I have 2 more. Because these are 2 more big mistakes. And if you're guilty of this, if you stop this, I guarantee you, you're going to win a lot more games. Number 1 of the 2 that I'm about to talk about is passivity. You guys play neutral very passively. Oh, I'm just going to float about here. No, I'm not going to do anything. Now, to be clear, this is not the same as having, like, defensive movement. This is not the same as trying to bait something and, you know, trying to move around, create optimal distancing so that way you can come in. This is literally just doing this. This is not good neutral, guys. This is very bad neutral because you're essentially just a sitting duck. Once you spend both of your assists, you're a sitting duck, and Blue Goku's just going to run up and take his turn because you're not doing anything. You're not contesting neutral. You're not giving me any reason to not approach you. You're just hanging back. You're way too passive. At a higher level, even some of my Angel trainees are guilty of this. They'll just super jump float back. Now, this is a very good pattern. We'll talk about super jump in its own masterclass because this is a very complex movement pattern. But doing this is also not good neutral because you're not moving forward. The whole point is you need to aggress against your opponent. Now, super jump float does have a purpose. Super jump float is great for getting out of zone 1. It's even great for crossing up that way. It's great for creating and maintaining distance. And it's great for doing stuff like this. Patterns like that. Whoa, I'm like, okay, I'm escaping. Haha, just kidding. Get over here. That's how you use super jump. In a very broad way. You don't want to constantly do this. Now, if you're trying to do something like stall out your opponent's spark, bait your opponents to use their assists so that way you can come in safely, that's good. But if you're just passively hanging out in the air, that's not good neutral, and a lot of you guys do that. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Super jump is very powerful, but super jump is not an excuse to be passive. The most powerful super jumps are very proactive. They're very decisive. They're very positional based. You are trying to cut off your opponent from doing something. You are trying to defend against an opponent's oncoming aggression, or you're trying to regain a positional advantage so you could do stuff like that. That's hard to react to. Boom, mix up. Little things like that are very, very powerful and neutral. But hanging back and never wanting to interact with your opponent, this is not great. It's not great movement. And you often won't see it very much at high level either. Because proactivity generally tends to cost you, or inactivity and passivity generally means you lose neutral a lot and means you have to rely on your defense. But if your opponent has really, really good pressure, you're going to get opened up. It doesn't matter if you're Goichi. Goichi gets cracked. You will see this. Goichi gets cracked. And I'm not talking about 50-50s. He eats DRs. He eats 6M. If your opponent has sufficiently good pressure, you are going to have a very hard time. And the second biggest mistake, this. Oops. General rule of thumb. If your super dash is at a 45-degree angle, if you don't get 2H'd, your opponent was asleep. If you do this, expect to die. We have not gone over super dash in detail. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean stuff like this is bad. Oh, whoa. Hang on. That doesn't mean stuff like this is bad. That's good. That's a fake cross-up super dash. That's how you use super dash offensively. That doesn't mean stuff like this is bad. Well, that's a cursed cross-up. But, you don't want to do, that. It's fine. It's fine. You can super dash from point blank. You can even super dash if it's 45 degrees. And, like, if my opponent's doing this. By the way, this is how you deal with opponents. They don't have 7 bars. Good super dash. Hey. Don't do this. Because this is the freest 2H in the world. And I mean it. Like, let's see if I'm good enough. Let me put myself on the spot. Oops. Ooh. Yup. Freest super dash. Freest 2H in the world. Don't do this. And the last problem, actually, I lied. There was one extra one. But we'll go over that one in detail because you have to learn the right way before you realize what you're doing wrong. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this next point. Some of you guys jump too much. Some of you guys really like to spend time in the air because you've been told at the mid-level that jumping is extremely powerful. What they don't tell you is jumping is a very strong defensive and positional tool. Meaning it's very good, like, for defense. Because you can block a lot here if your character has an air level 3 and they super dash. You can do, you can do this. Oh, I don't have 3 bars, my bad. You can do, that. How often is it? Pretty common, actually. You can stuff your opponent a lot, especially if it's a point-blank super dash, or if they're like right above you and you just do something like that. Then you can stuff a lot with SD. But if you're at a 45-degree angle and you just spent your double jump, that's another habit, by the way. Preserve your double jumps. Don't double jump, because if you double jump, you've ran out of options. You only have one other thing, and that's super dash. And at that point, if I see you double jump, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to snipe your landing if you decide not to super dash me, and if you do super dash me, I'm going to 2H you. Wouldn't you say that jumping is more advantageous than being grounded in general? No. Why? Everything you do on the ground is a risk. Or everything you do in the air to the ground is a risk. Because you also have a homing dash as well. So you might be wondering, okay, but what about grounded assists? Very simple. Just jump it. And by being in the air, I mean doing this all the time. This is no bueno. The reason why you jump is to bait your assists, but once your opponent has no assists, you'll see me very locked off, very grounded, relying a lot on my different movement tools, and I'm going to 2H you. Because I could try to air you. That's another thing I can do. If I notice that you're in the air, I'm just going to run up and boom. Like if I see you're just like, okay, I see that. I'm going to try to... There you go. Super dash. Boom. Air to air. Let's see. Sniping double jumps is extremely important and apparent for people who play SSB Gogeta and anyone else with high communal moves. That is when I typically use Gogeta 5S. Top tie is correct. That is also when these characters become broken. Because I see you in the air and you're going to land? See? I'm sniping that landing. But actually doing the correct float breaks Baby B. Never mind. You are correct. Baby B does lose. What about your character's zoning tools in the air? You're not really winning neutral. You're not really contesting neutral. You're playing neutral in the safest possible way. And that might be good if you're trying to bait a reaction. But again, if I'm in the air... So you might be wondering, why do I keep doing this? Why am I doing this? Well, this is super dash bait. But more importantly, look at my bar. And every time I block something that you do, I get more bar. So if you're just going to chill, all right. You don't want to play the game? Fine. I'll just build bar. Easy. How good is Krillin 5S grounded? Can I still beat SD with that? Probably not. But I'm also not a Krillin main, so I couldn't really tell you. But those are the most common issues that I see. And if you guys can fix those, like, honestly, when the VOD's up, go back, listen to this. If you relate to anything that I've just said, these are easy mistakes that you can correct immediately and start building good habits. And I guarantee you, you will notice the difference in your games. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're going to your local and competing in tournaments. I don't care if you're competing in a major. I don't care if you're playing online on casuals or ranked. These simple tools if you are able to harness them and get rid of these mistakes, your play overnight shoots up. I bet a bottom dollar on it. I bet my bottom dollar on it. I swear to you guys. It is that powerful. That is how dangerous these habits are. These habits, I'm going to tell you something, the honest to God truth, and this is the thing that's going to hurt you the most, but I have to because it's medicine. There are a few times, if you do any of these, that you were probably better than your opponent and could have won, but your opponent punished one of these bad habits and you died for it. You need to check these. It's very bad. I can't stress that enough. But now, we kind of have an idea of what to... now we have an idea of what not to do. You might be wondering, all right, Ken, well, now that I know what not to do, what do I do? What am I allowed to do? Well, fortunately, Damn Doctor has another part to his series that is really, 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 really strong. I'm not going to cover the entire video today because there's way too much here and you would not be able to retain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the 4 that I think are the most important.
Comes back from every mission half dead. My gosh.
He's crazy.
Also, I love this joke, so I'm not
with
skipping
only a
this.
handful of men on his side.
I think he needs to be retested. This case is unusual.
I agree, Planthor.
How is he, Malaka?
Let's see here. Yes, physically, sure. He's ready. Mentally, I'm not certain. There's a slight change in his brainwave pattern.
Bardock mates.
That doesn't sound too good, Tora. We'd better handle this one on our own.
Right. We should be okay on neat.
We all know this Bardock main. That is true. For those of you that don't know, this is the YouTube channel. I want to have it linked. I'm actually going to provide the link myself because I don't know if I included it. But just in case... I can't even... Wow, I can't even... pain. I can't even right click. Alright, point is, I'll try to get this in the chat. If one of you guys already has it, please upload it. But Forbidden Technique TV, please follow this. Please follow him, and please follow Damn Doctor on Twitter. Like I mentioned, amazing content. And honestly, I want you guys to review this as often as you can. But I lost neutral to someone who literally did key blasts from full screen. Yeah. That's pain. Thank you so much, Fizz. I really appreciate it. Nightbot, piss off. That's actually, by the way, not true. That's actually not true. It's true that you do use walkbacks in neutral for 2H, but there are actually a couple of ways to use walk in pressure, and I can't wait to talk about it. It's one of my favorite techniques. It's a lot more advanced, but whew, whew. I love that. Wow. I'm sorry. Season 2 was wild, dog. He just straight up ran from full screen and punched Goku in the shin, dog. That's so deep. I forgot who that was. I know the red one is Wawa. It just runs up and punches him in the chin. In a major. That's crazy, dog. That is true. I agree with that. And we're going to talk about this. So, if you ever hear me and Star talk about movement patterns, what we mean is we talk about combining different methods of movement into a repeatable pattern that you can use for different effects in your gameplay. So what I mean by that is you actually saw it a little bit, or a couple of examples, but something like dash forward, super jump forward, dash back, or IED back. That's super important because that's a very strong pattern. Another pattern that you see a lot is dash forward, IED back, dash forward, IED back. Like, you'll see that pattern a lot. And each one of those has different movements. Or, I'm sorry, each one of those has different purposes. And we'll go over all of them in detail, and I'll show you some of the patterns that I see a lot at high level, some of the patterns that I like, some of the patterns that I use. But that's going to be way, way, way down the line. Man, I haven't seen that since since late season 2. I haven't seen this. Like, man, it's been a minute. Oh, that's true. So I'm actually going to stop it there because, in my opinion, I think that this portion of the video is pretty much all you need. It's pretty much all you need to actually kind of... Mods, can you take care of that, please? And please ban him. It's actually a fantastic way you can basically learn to control your opponent and move in and out of the zones. So I think we're going to go over that in a little bit of detail. So I'm going to basically go over what the homework is, because I'm going to talk about these movements in detail. So you guys pretty much know walk back. Nowadays you actually see a lot of shimmies. Like you see this in neutral a lot, which is pretty cool. I like this. It's a Street Fighter thing. But more importantly, we're going to talk about, yeah. The first one I want to talk about, air dashes and normal dashes. So ground dash is really, really important. And for this, I'm going to talk about it a little bit in depth because there is a certain degree of risk to it. At high level, probably the most important thing to get the hang of. I don't see enough people do this, actually, to be honest. Is dashing. I'm -4 after dashing. So right here, this is called the Dash OS, or dash blocking. There's 2 versions of this. I'll even turn on my my input, so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. If I remember where it is. Sorry, I had a day today. Okay. This is called dash blocking, or dash OSing. Dash blocking is probably the most powerful thing next to super jump in DBFC. And it is one of the best ways to move zones. So if I'm here and I want to move into zone 2, a good way to do that, dash block. Something as simple as dash block call and assist. The reason why I like to dash block to call certain assists, let's see, is because right here, Beerus is vulnerable, right? But what if I do this? I can protect my assist. So if I do, I can protect my assist while maintaining a position where I can confirm how my opponent interacts with their assists. So one of the best round starts in the game, if you have a beam assist, I'm going to simulate it with Gogeta because his range covers it. But basically, this is essentially what you want to do if you have a beam like SSJ Goku or even Tien. Protects the beam. And as you can see right here, Gogeta stays behind me, no risk of getting happy birthdayed, and I have time to confirm whether my opponent has jumped away or got hit by the assist, or, you know, if anything happens and I lose the exchange, that's fine. I'm okay. So, dash blocking is a great way to enter zones, including into zone 1, believe it or not, especially if you have an assist. Like, over here, what I like to do a lot is if I know, like, my opponent's, like, getting ready to do something, okay, we're playing neutral, boom. Just get in there, call an assist, and now I'm plus 33. So you call the assist and dash block, of course. You can also, if your assist is fast enough, you can call the assist and dash block, but at that point you're a little bit more vulnerable. So I like to do this. Is I dash block plus beam, they IED over me, and I get crossed up. Then don't get crossed up. Super dash, pay attention to what your opponent's doing. And jump away. Try to navigate the situation. No harm, no foul. So if they do... Let's say they do that. Okay. Well, let's not repeat. How about that? Boom. You can even delay the assist call if you have a fast one. Here, let me make a cleaner recording. There we go. You can run out. Oops, my bad. And make sure you're blocking the right way. If they whiff a button over you, I'm plus. Easy. If you dash block plus assist a lot and always approach with IED buttons, make a mental note and be ready to 2H the next time they try to IED you. Yes. I agree. It's not always that easy, but definitely, if Top Tie is correct, make a mental note of it. But be very careful, especially with a character like Blue Goku, because that. But you are correct. Boom. So, dash blocking is one of the primary forms. I use this even from full screen. I'll do this. My opponent will be jumping around. You know, okay, I'm jumping forward. Haha, I'm coming in. I'm playing neutral, blah, blah, blah. And I will literally just do this. Boom. Yeah, well, we gotta learn somehow. Oops, you got me. I was not expecting the JS. JS is too good. I blocked it. Or did I get hit? I don't know. Sure. You're gonna just aggress like that too. Oops, my bad. I messed up my dash. Boom. Not proper confirm. But you guys get the point. Dash blocking is ridiculously powerful. So definitely abuse this. Part of your homework, very, very simple. Practice dash blocking on every side of the screen. And always remember, there's 2 types of dash blocking, and pay attention to your opponent. So if you're Kefla, remember you have an almost full screen low, and she dashes, she has a full screen low. So what you want to do, very, very simple. Practice dash blocking. You have 664 and 661. Try to get those as clean as you possibly can, and make sure to input back or down back the instant you are able. Once you're comfortable doing that, you can take it out into real matches. It's not that hard. It's not like learning a combo, but you definitely want to make sure you're completely comfortable with that pattern and make sure you beat it into your muscle memory. Something else you can do is you can turn on the bot, put it to 100, and then just try to play neutral against the bot and just dash block and see what the bot does, and you'll see how often you defend things in neutral. It's actually pretty crazy. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about. Instant Air Dash Ied. This is very, very important. Because where dash blocking is really good, dash blocking works because I'm -4. I'm always safe. But if I backdash, I'm -15. Backdash has recovery. I blocked. So be very, very careful backdashing. General rule of thumb, I only like to backdash when my opponent is in the air. So if my opponent's IDing above me or they're super jumping and they're coming near me and I need to create some distance quickly, I'll do this. But in general, I don't like to retreat with backdash very often. It is a commitment. And it's very tricky to get right. And it's one of the only things where if you mess up, you can actually die. So be very, very careful with backdash. But it is important to remember your options. A good way to implement backdash is with IEDs. So something like this is very good at creating space. Now we're full screen. Air dash. This is very good. This is very good. This is very good defensive movement. This is how you mix. This is dash forward, IED back, dash forward, IED back, dash forward, IED back, dash forward, IED forward. That is a great way to enter zone 1 and 2. I'm sorry, zone 1 and 2. So IEDing here, if I want to go from zone 1, okay, cool. So it's like, shit, this is a little bit dangerous. That's a great way to be proactive. So if your opponent tries to do something, they end up getting hit. This is a great response to... I wish I had Bardock up, but I'm too lazy. Sorry, that's a great way to call that out. Now remember, lariats are at their most dangerous in zone 2. So doing this, very, very powerful keep out tool. Very, very good way to potentially get a confirm as well. If they super dash you too, like... Oop, I got hit. Boom. Boom. Doesn't always work. Kefla's dumb. There we go. It's very risky for your opponent to kind of get in like this. So I prefer using IEDs or super jump IEDs, but you don't have to. We'll get into super jump and all of its variations in its own masterclass, really. But IED back button, very, very powerful way to retreat, especially if you pair it with an assist. Because now, oops, I messed up. But look how plus I am. My God, I can never get my meaty timings. Gogeta. Point being, if you have a good assist, very, very, very good retreat. Especially if you have a defensive assist like Barrier or Beerus. So, IED, very important and very good way to retreat, and then move forward as well. So, something that I like to do. Boom. So I like to dash block, super jump. I'm sorry, dash block. My God. There you go. Kafla. My execution's bad today. Boom. Very, very, very good way to get in and get out. IEDs are very, very important, and they're very strong for going from zone 2 to zone 1. When you're ready to attack, I like to sometimes IED, and it's very, very basic. It's universal. Works with pretty much almost any character, really. And the reason why is because you're playing neutral. I'm dash blocking. Like, there are a lot of things I can do. Like, I can just run up and... I can either run up and just... Maybe not with Beerus, but... You know, I could do that. That. You know, I could... That, which we'll talk about in a second. Or I can... Even at high level, that doesn't get 2H'd very often. That is a hard call-out. If you get touched like that, they were baiting you. So keep that in mind. That is very, very important to keep in mind. If you get called out like that, you were getting baited. The next one, dash jump. As you saw, this is the primitive form of moon jump. Moon jump is basically... I'm not going to get it framed perfectly because I don't have the macro up. Hang on. Okay, so that's dash jump. My God. There we go. That's more or less a moon jump. Only a moon jump is frame 1. But you dash super jump across the screen. This covers a lot of distance. This covers every zone instantaneously. And you still maintain an air option. So you can... You know, you can cross up from neutral, basically, which is pretty cool. Like, I'll do it with Kefla because her cross-up buttons are amazing, but... never mind, they're trash. We'll go with Gogeta. There you go. You can get cool little mix-ups like that. You can dash forward. Boom. By the way, pro tip, whenever you dash jump, hold back. So that way, if they preemptively air-to-air you, you're blocking. That's also a golden rule, by the way. Anytime you play neutral, and anytime you move, hold back. Did you jump? Cool, hold back. Did you dash jump? Cool. Cool, hold back. Did you IED? Cool, hold back. Essentially, you want to be blocking while doing everything. I'm not doing it because I'm lazy, but you can kind of see the advantage here. Very good way for crossing zones. Very, very good for air-to-airs. When your opponent is just kind of, you know, hanging about. Don't do that. Boom. Done. Very, 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 very important. So dash jump is when you're ready to come in. And if you pair it with an assist, you can even do some really gnarly stuff. Because, like, let's say your opponent wants to 2H, right? You could do this. And let the assist confirm for you. If you're really comfortable, you can even do stuff like this. Fun. Little stuff like that. Point being, this is best utilized from going from Zone 3 to Zone 1. More importantly, this is best used when you essentially want to air-to-air your opponent or attack them while they're on the ground. This is very, very good for air-to-airs. If you are hanging about, by the way, this is why you'll see this a lot at high level. I'm coming forward because I want to bait the assist. If you come near me, I'm going to attack you. And if, you know, if you're not careful and I see you messing about, I'm going to IED back, dash jump. And now you got hit. Boom. Whatever. You won. So definitely keep that in mind. And once you get comfortable with all of these, doing them individually, yeah, the VOD will definitely still be up. Don't worry. If you guys want, I also recommend subscribing. If you guys subscribe, you guys get reminders. I upload little streamables, and I have them in a homework section in the Discord. I think it's a great resource if you guys want to get used to it and ask questions. If you have any questions and we're not on stream, you can ask me in Star, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So I definitely recommend subscribing if you guys haven't already. Yeah, this will be archived. No worries. I have it on a YouTube channel, and then the VOD automatically gets uploaded here. So if you guys want to review it, don't worry. The VOD will still be up. Also, great to see you in the chat. That is the damn doctor himself. Thank you so much for the wonderful video, man. I think you've given Neutral a vocabulary where we can actually teach the hardest part of this damn game. Like, you've done, like, a huge service to the community. So thank you so much for that video. Guys, please go follow him on YouTube. If you want, I'll shut Nightbot up. You can go ahead and link yourself. I already have the links up to your videos, but go ahead and share anything you got here, man. It is the real Slim Shady, yeah. But that is really, really, really important to keep in mind. Dash jumping forward, very, very powerful movement. Yep, it's the man of the hour. Very, 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 very important thing to keep in mind for aggression. And then, of course, you also have double jump. He mentions it in the video. I like combining it with dash jump, but something like this. And you'll see this a lot at high level as well. That is also another reason why most people don't really 2H. If I know you're too eager to 2H... that's a very, very good bait. Especially if you do something like this. With Gogeta. It's pretty cool. You know? Double jumping, very good way to spend it. And it's worth spending it, you know, you want to be judicious with how you spend your double jump. Generally speaking, you don't want to spend your double jump if you can avoid it. That's why I don't mind IEDs, because IEDs at least put you back on the ground. But if you're jumping, use your air dashes very sparingly and very accurately. Don't just air dash for the hell of it, unless you're baiting something, or trying to instantly create distance, or close distance. But otherwise, you want to be very, very accurate with how you spend your air dashes, even when you have two of them like Gogeta. So, very, very, very important. Very good. Very, very strong. Very strong patterns to bait your opponent into doing different things in neutral. Because I'm coming into the danger zone and being like, psych. And I love that Gogeta can still attack from there. Oh, psych. You thought we were gonna... You thought neutral was over. Nope. But now it is. So little stuff like that is really, really, really powerful. And if you can master these basic movement patterns before we move on, you're instantly going to start seeing improvements in your play. You're going to notice the results. You're going to start winning a lot more. And you're going to be able to break down high-level matches a lot easier as well, because their movement will be a little bit easier to comprehend. If this is a lot, I completely understand. Neutral is the single most complicated topic that you can possibly talk about in this game. That's why... you know, this is only the first of many, 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 many masterclasses and many situations that we're going to talk about. But if you could just keep it to these basic movement patterns, I think that'll be great. I'm going to go ahead and give you a good TLDR so that way you guys can keep this in mind if you want to notate it or start practicing it yourself. Yeah, man. Sure. I would love to. Top one is dash block. ID forward, and ID back. Dash jump. Or I was dash super jump, sorry. Dash jump. And dash double jump. You want to use this to kind of create confusion with your opponent and be like, okay, I'm avoiding this. Yeah, no. Nope, I don't want to land right on top of you. I'm good, sir. Nope, I'm just going to call an assist and then convert. That's all you need to keep in mind. That's pretty much all you guys have to practice. The next big one, the next big categorical distinction that I want to create is the difference between defensive movement and offensive movement. Generally speaking, defensive movement is when you are moving back, trying to get away from your opponent. This is a very defensive posture right here. If you see this at high level, which you will a lot, especially if you watch Kaiden. Kaiden is a huge fan of this. Kaiden is doing this all day, every day. That's a very good form of defensive movement. As Docta actually explains in his video, this is actually super dash bait. And it does a little bit more than that, but basically its primary thing is, hey, super dash me, see what happens. Super dash me, see what happens. See what happens. That's basically what he's saying when he moves like that. But another thing that's very, very, very strong is offensive movement, which is like when you're trying to get in, when you're trying to close the distance, doing something like if your opponent's in the air and you dash up and then do this, like super jump up. Don't actually try this until we do the masterclass, guys, but this is an example. This is a very offensive movement. Whenever you're ready to attack, it's offensive. Whenever you want to create distance, it's defensive. So if you hear me go, wow, it was great defensive movement or great offensive movement, that's what I mean. And sometimes you can do both. There was an interaction that I really liked between Goichi and Wawa, where Goichi and Wawa were down to like last characters, and Wawa was approaching, and he was dash blocking, dash blocking, dash blocking. And remember, there's a high-level tactic. You don't want to close into zone 1 unless you're, doing stuff. Like you don't want to close. You don't want to close the distance unless you're ready to attack, right? So Goichi wasn't ready to attack. So what did Goichi do? He did this. Because Wawa was trying to push Goichi into the corner. Because he knew that he doesn't want to close the distance. But Goichi was like, sir, I don't think so. And that is an example of how you can use these basic patterns, even at the highest level, and these same principles, avoiding zone 1 unless you're ready to attack, to your advantage. Creating that distance is really cool, because at a certain level, because you guys know you don't want to enter zone 1 unless you're ready, you guys are going to avoid zone 1. If you're an aggressor, you can use that to your advantage. You know your opponent's going to retreat from you if you dash forward, so dash forward, watch them dash back. Dash forward, watch them dash back, and then you can pay attention to what they're doing. Like, these are some crazy, crazy applications that come out of this, and you're going to see a lot of these patterns soon. But so far, that is going to wrap it up for the educational purpose of this video. I hope you guys understand how neutral is meant to be played now, at the very least at a very basic level. This is essentially going to take the scramble out of DBFZ, I hope. And I want to see you guys get stronger. I want to see you guys move better, because honestly, whenever I talk to a high-level player, whenever I talk to Kasuga, or if I were like talk to Silverblades or whatnot, and I ask them, what do you think the difference is between a mid-level and a high-level player? Their answer, movement. You can tell someone's high-level based purely on their movement. So if you guys move better, if you guys pressure a little bit better, and you guys defend better, you're going to start noticing some really, really, really interesting stuff going on in your play. But just because I'm done with the educational purpose of this video, or the educational portion of this video, doesn't necessarily mean we're done. Because there's something that I would really like to do. I reached out to Goichi recently. I DM'd him, and he gave me the okay to do this. I want to actually review one of Goichi's matches. We're going to review his matches on... we're going to review his matches against Fenrich. Doctor says, I can attest to this myself. Movement is the key defining factor. Yeah, it is. Like, I don't care how good your TODs are. I have seen, like, guys, Kane, bless him, one of the strongest players in the game right now, possibly one of the strongest in the world. He drops his combos all the time. He optimally 6 touches you, and you don't do that unless you move. I don't care how good your pressure is. You can open up Goichi with staggers. You know? You can open up Goichi with staggers, and I still don't care. You are not beating this man unless you can outmove him. Otherwise, you're never going to touch him. Wawa has some of the cleanest movement in the entire game. And that's usually all he needs. He just needs to move. Like, obviously, the game opens itself up when you have 2 players of high caliber moving against each other. But if you've ever seen Wawa play online, if you go on Wawa's stream, it should be Wawa underscore DBFZ. I believe that's his stream. If you go watch his stream and he plays online all the time, you're going to watch him clean house, and almost exclusively through movement. Because his opponent's going to do something, they're going to whiff, and they're going to get smacked. And he's like, of course. I match start TOD, but an opponent's superior movement. Punishing my movement is the reason why I can easily lose, even if I take out their point in the first 10 seconds. That is very true. Movement is incredibly important, and getting good at it is very important as well. But I would love to watch these matches with you guys, because I think that these matches are instructive. I'm even going to do something that's going to be a little bit tedious, which is why it's muted. But I honestly think that this game, especially compared to other fighting games, is a little bit fast-paced. It's very, very, very hard to tell what's going on sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slow the video down, and I'm going to give you commentary and break down certain interactions that I'm seeing. So we're going to go playback speed 7.5. I know it's excruciating, but at the very least, you'll be able to see the action. Also, of course, shout out to Goichi. He needs no shout out. Go follow him at caggo1.com. I'm sorry, caggo1 on YouTube. The link to his channel should be up. He uploads pretty much every day. And obviously go follow him on Twitter. Go watch his matches. Go study this man's play. If you want to get better at DBFZ, if you want to be the best, you need to watch the best. And you don't get much better than Goichi. So definitely give him a lot of love, guys. Please go watch this video on your own for reviewing material. We're only going to watch a few matches, maybe a first to 3. We'll see where we're at. But please go watch this, because this is truly educational. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Japanese play. You're absolutely right, Meta. I'm excited about this match because you get to see what the Japanese are the best at. They are clean. They are so clean every damn time they play. You very, very, very rarely see weird scrambles. You very rarely see any weird situations. And of course, the reason why I picked this match in particular is not just because it's Goichi. Actually, it has nothing to do with Goichi. It's also because of Fenrich, who's his opponent right here. And Fenrich might be, in my opinion, the god of neutral in this game. His movement is so incredible, and it is so simple that you could see the true power of the homework. You could see the true power of everything that we're doing here, literally in Fenrich's play. Mostly because that's all his team has, let's be real. But I mean, he's not really running any crazy 50-50s except on knockdown. You know, he's not locking anyone down and doing crazy IID. So when you play a team like this against a player like Goichi, you have to be so fundamentally on point. This team is very hard to play, and I absolutely adore it. Let's take a look and let's see how this match goes. PSN, you gotta love it. It's crazy to me that they play the way they do in like 3, 4, sometimes even 5 frames of PC lag. It's kind of crazy. Oh yeah, no, they're so educational. Even their round starts are incredible. Look at that. Right off the bat. I love it. I love this. Literally right off the bat. You love it. Round start, they don't do any crazy stuff immediately. Already in the first second of the game, you see high level movement. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Already, they're moving. He's a little bit aggressive. Fenrich is a little bit defensive. They land, and he's going in. He's Bardock. Like I mentioned, if you're Bardock, kind of like the beginning of Doc's video, there's something about this character. He just does something to you. You have to punch your opponent in the face. If you're not punching your opponent in the face, you're not really playing Bardock. If you're playing Bardock and super jump floating back and not engaging with your opponent, he's not the character for you. He's not that kind of character. But already, this is very, very strong too, because this is, rest in peace, pre-nerf GTA. I like how the beam spawns so far away. Exactly, yes. You got a Unga. He just dashes forward, calls an assist, and he just super jumps away. Very, very nice and safe, and calls Vegeta. Unfortunately, he gets hit, I think, holding 2 instead of 1. It's okay. It happens to me too, honestly, Fenrich. I'm glad you're relatable, bro. I get it. Already, Goichi just going ham on Fenrich. Very good raw tag. Very good raw tag. Very good cross up as well. Yeah, you see? He was anticipating the air to air. So Fenrich right here, right there with that, like right here, IED back because he's baiting his opponent to do something. This pattern in particular encourages your opponent to essentially call an assist, especially if you're playing a team like this where you have Bardock with a lot of air mobility in his specials, and you could kind of use the assist and the special in tandem to conquer neutral. That's very, very good. He IEDs back just out of range. If he would have reflected here, that would have been godlike, but unfortunately he got hit. Let's see. To show how crazy they understand that movement is so well, is that Fenrich realizes it and lands in zone 1, which means he's in danger, and then Goichi knows that Fenrich is in a bad spot. So then, because Fenrich lands in zone 1, Goichi knows to ID forward and be aggressive. That's the opening. Can't keep up. I know. It's crazy. And Dan Dox is actually absolutely correct. You landed in a bad spot. You have to get out of there. They understand that so well. So right here, he's anticipating an air-to-air. He thought that Bardock will probably try to retreat or probably try to meet him. And little known thing about Cell. Cell has amazing air-to-airs. There we go. Very, very... I'll talk about their pressure another time. I love their pressure too. But this is for movement. Very, very nice. And that's another way. Another thing that you can use in movement that we haven't even discussed. Your movement can be used defensively. It can get you out of situations if your movement's good. But yeah, no, that's the homework. Fenrich was doing the homework. The Clash War. This Clash War is always so funny to me because of these two characters. If you guys don't know the Clash War, we'll go over it at another time. But basically, it's more of like, okay, I do one move that's the same, that's 6 frames. I do another move that's 6 frames. And then we do our next fastest move. And both of these characters have 8-frame moves. But for whatever reason, Bardock anti-airs. Defensive movement is the second half of good defense, right? More like good defense starts with good defensive movement. The best defense is when you're not blocking. By the way, homework! Right here, look at this 50-50, guys. This 50-50 opening up the second best person in the world. I'm not being serious. Point is, I've seen so many people tell me that, oh, these mix-ups don't work, everyone OS's everything, and, you know, they're never going to work on Goichi, and they're never going to work on Fenrich, and I'm just going to empty jump low. But that was a particularly dirty because he whiffed an overhead, and Bardock, in particular, is exceptional at this. But point being, yeah, it works. So if you're worried about it working on the random guy in ranked, you're probably fine. You're probably fine. All right, I'm not. I watched way too much season 1. I can't watch this level 3 in slow motion. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, Goichi, why are you so good at this game? Yeah, it's actually me and Meta's correct. This is Whi's training ground, but my name is Ken, and I often stream with a co-host, a French co-host. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you know him, but I stream with Star Hero. He's the Vidal player in France. And this is a project that we do together. I tend to handle like the master classes in like the first half of the week, and then what ends up happening is he'll usually co-host with me, and we'll do like a big topic or whatnot. Cass can hit Goichi with 6M. Trust me, everyone gets it with something. Exactly. But I just want to talk about how amazing this is. Like, oh no, you're fine. ID forward for the Oki. Safe jumps, baits the perfect attack, and then reflects. That's so D. Yeah, because he plays Vidal. He doesn't play Yamcha anymore. Which is funny. Nobody outside the Yamcha Discord knows about his Yamcha, but his Yamcha is legendary. Like low key on the DL. Very, very good movement. Very good assist utilization here as well. Yeah. Good guard cancel. Oof. Right here. Just like we discussed. He's using the double jump to retreat. Or a single jump to retreat. And Fenrich knows that. He's just going to IED JM. That's how you close the distance. But notice the decision making here. Because I think that that's the most important thing. So right here. Just like we talked about before. Goichi landed in zone 1. Not safe. Not safe. He's not ready to attack. Fenrich knows this. Comes in. Tries to take his turn. Goichi doesn't spend his double jump, but he does land. And the moment he confirms that he landed, Goichi's already ready to surrender neutral. But that looked like he was trying to 2H. And he got there a bit late. Very good reflect on Goichi's end. They dash block in the air, by the way. I love that. Always be holding back, because I'm going to be real. I'll admit something. I got hit by that attack. But the fact that, like, you always want to be, whenever you're not actively pressing a button, you want to always kind of have your finger or your hand or your joystick in the back position. You always want to make sure you're as safe as possible at all times, because you're never going to be prepared for everything that the opponent can throw at you. So at the very least, you want to make sure that you're prepared to defend when you can, because a lot of situations like that are hard to kind of see. Exactly, top type. Right here. This is very good evasive movement. So right here, he jumps forward to bait the assist as well as for GT to come forward, and he immediately IDs back to create some distance. And then he uses the double jump method that Doctor talked about in his video right here. Double jump away. That is good on many, many, many levels right here, because he comes in, dashes forward with an assist. Dangerous because he can land, but more importantly, Fenrich, needs to get out of the corner, because he does not want to be pushed into the corner, which is why Goichi was so aggressive with his forward movement. Is because he's basically trying to force Fenrich into the corner, and Fenrich is like, nope, I'm not being cornered by that. Bye. And then, of course, calls JM in order to stop the chase. That was a weird vanish. I mean, the vanish was good. I don't really agree with it that much. I think he thought it might have hit him, or he didn't want to be that much. I'm not really sure exactly what that vanish was. It did create some distance and return to neutral. I guess it's fine because he spent the bar on it, but I think the French might have done something a little bit different there. But yeah, that's using your neutral tools right here. Rocket kick, my favorite thing in the game. And then, of course, level 1 into level 3. And this level 3, back in that day, used to do a lot of damage if you were high up in the air. I remember base Vegeta supremacy before UI. It was kind of crazy. There was a time where he was top 1 in the game. Oh my god, that does so much damage. So this is just a little bit of, like, I guess, fighter's history, because it's hard to believe that, this is almost a year old. This match is almost a year old, and this was almost an entire season ago, in terms of time. And there was a point in time where base Vegeta, I don't know why, oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He's great. But yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason they thought it would be a brilliant idea, like, as a buff for base Vegeta, that every time he does his 2-1-4S, I think, the OTG grab where he throws you into the air and then does like a super, it does like 200 more damage when he does that. If he throws you high into the air, instead of doing like 780, which is not really that great, it's decent for a super, it's about average, it does 980, which is one of the highest damaging level 1s in the game, and sliding knockdowns. So it's like, okay, that's a lot of damage, but for whatever reason, this character was bugged. So instead of him having to throw you, he just had to be really high in the air. So certain DHCs, you would do a combo that would put you really, really, really high in the air, and then you would level 1, and then DHC into Vegeta, and then he would get the 980 on DHC. It was super, super, super dumb. Yeah, that still happens. He can still grab you and do 980, but the bug is gone. He doesn't do that anymore. Right here. Excellent, excellent, excellent movement. Once again, we have a very similar situation, but this time base Vegeta has a tool. He has JS. So he snipes the freaking beam assist, and then immediately backdashes. So he does IDJS backdash to avoid being in zone 1. Because as we know, the danger zone, don't want to be in zone 1. I call it the danger zone for a reason. You do not want to be there unless you are the one attacking. Very good forward movement. Goichi retreating. Very nice. I'm glad that also happens to me. People respond... Yeah, I understand as well. I tested my video with test audience. People respond best to match examples, which makes the stream so powerful. And this is rare. Thank you so much. Honestly, the idea came from you because I saw like you were including a lot of high-level examples. And that was such a good way to kind of like showcase when you were talking about movement. It was a really great way to showcase where the mindset is for high-level players and what they're thinking about. Because I guess like when you don't really know all of this looks completely random. It just looks like they have a bunch of godlike reactions. When in reality, they're not really reacting. They're doing an intricate back and forth, and they're trying to bait each other to come forward. Like, it looks like it's a straight reaction, but in reality, I like to think of it more as a conversation. They're giving a back and forth, someone presents something, and then your opponent comes up with a reply, and then it's kind of like an exchange of ideas, exchange of debate. That's what makes it really interesting. You kind of have to sometimes pull back, sometimes you have to move forward, and like that's why I don't like overly passive neutral. By the way, dash block. Even is very, very good offensively, especially in pressure. He dash resets, Goichi jumps out. He's blocking. He's not pressing his turn. Fenrich right here has essentially admitted that there is a risk he can lose neutral. He has a very slight lead, but it's not that big. This game can go either way, and all Bardock needs to secure a lead is one good touch. Oh, I see. So that's okay. That makes sense. Because the training mode footage was really cool, actually. But I think the match examples were a really nice touch. But right here, Fenrich, I'm so sorry. So Fenrich makes the right call, realizes the distance is off, so he IDs forward, be like, all right, it's my turn. And Koichi was like, uh-oh, I'm a 2H. Oh, these players are too good. And of course, Vanish to put him in the corner. Easiest way to do that online. And like I said, all it takes is one good touch to secure a lead. This game is very volatile sometimes, and like you make one mistake and this game will punish you. Because now it's a dead character. It's SSJ Vegeta with Spark and 3 bars against a Trunks with Bardock B in the back and Spark. Because this was the day, these were the heydays of Bardock B. This was when Bardock B was Bardock B. CTF, very good neutral control. By the way, for you Trunks players out there, especially Sai, he's remaining grounded. Very, very powerful. Very powerful based on this matchup as well. Because Vegeta's whole game plan is he likes to harass you, essentially, with... he's one of the few characters that actually has true, proper zoning in the air, because he has an anti-air in the air. So, he likes to play in the air, and he's very mobile and very hard to catch. Trunks, you generally want to make sure that you play to your opponent's characters. You don't want to jump around too much if you're playing Trunks against Vegeta specifically. Especially because CTF is so powerful. Oh, he tries to go for a Clash War. Goichi denies. Goichi says, "No, we're not playing the Clash War, son. You have a DP. I'm not risking that. You have DP and 4 bars. I'm not risking that." Oh, messes up the mix-up. We got a 5H rejump into level 3. Yep. Well, Goichi looks like he was tired of landing in zone 1 and he went for a preemptive 2H. You can say that often with Goichi. Goichi vanishes if he misses a 2H often. Fun fact, Sonic Fox knows the habit of Goichi and punishes in a lot of their matches. No, really? I actually have to watch that because I noticed that like Goichi is kind of a... He's a very calm player, but there are times and situations where he's like, uh-oh, you know, he kind of panics. But I don't think I've ever actually noticed that. Oh, that's really, really cool. Oh, that's sick. I like that. I'm gonna have to actually break down some of their old season 2 matches because I wanna see that in action. But I could definitely see that being a factor that would sway their matchups in favor of Sonic Fox from time to time in certain matches. Oh no. Oh, I feel like that was a missed input or something. Yeah, that must have been a missed input. Top tie. I actually think I recall this from the first set I witnessed between him and SF in Final Round 2018, the early days. Yes. So even Goichi has bad habits. Let's go. If you think... I stand by my statement. All right? Everyone is trash at this game. Goichi is trash at this game. He's just less trash than everyone else. But we're all bad at this game. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, man, everyone has bad habits. Everyone has exploitable habits. There's always a way to win in every fighting game. No matter how huge your matchup is, there's a way to win. Oh, that would be cool. Exactly. Oh, that was very, very good JL on Trunks' end. I'm not gonna talk about what's going on here because once you add Spark, neutral literally becomes a completely different beast. We'll cover that on its own topic. Oh, gross! I hate sparking Trunks. Oh, I don't know. Is he capable of? I've never actually labbed this character. Is he capable of doing this out of Spark? I feel like this is Spark only. Oh no, I think he can. Can he do that outside of Spark? Trunks mains, can he do that outside of Spark? Yeah, only in Spark? Okay. Agreed. There's always a way to win. With enough prep like Batman, you can beat anyone. Agreed. But it takes the right prep. And that's hopefully Hopefully, what folks like Damn Doctor can help do is give us the right prep so that way we can beat Goichi. You can do it with Tiger Knee? Pass. I think he is jump canceling, yeah. From Star's Twitter with Trunks? Spark only, okay. I wanted to make sure. I felt like it was Spark only, but the jump cancel was just really hard to see, so I was like, maybe? But man, I hate this character in Spark. He's so good. I love Goichi laughing there. That was kind of nasty, to be honest. So I'm gonna see if I can break this down to show you guys why Fenrich got hit. That's why he got hit. Jump back. Air dash change. If I see the jump back, I'm like, all right, we're returning to neutral. And then Goichi was like, no, denied. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. It's amazing that your videos were in, like, they came out in season 2 and they're still relevant this deep into season 3. We're like in season 3.9 now. Hopefully we get a season 4. But like, man, this season's gone on for a long time and we're still talking about your videos. So I know I said that a super dash at 45-degree angle is bad. It is. That was actually a very risky super dash, to be honest. And I think in Goichi's mind, he was trying to preemptively super dash in case he jumped again. I don't think Fenrich was ready to 2H, so I think this is fine. But in general, if you see a super dash at this angle, be very careful. Very, very, I like this exchange a lot. So, right here. All right. He tries to aggress in zone 1. And look at that. Vegeta immediately moves back and then moves back in so that way he can start his offense. Goichi's not ready to deal with it. So Goichi jumps back so that way he doesn't get caught by the assist. Oops, I unmuted. And now, boom. Dash jump, double jumps to create max distance away. Exactly. Fenrich was not ready. Dash. Well, that wasn't dash block, but that's what dash block beam does. This is why dash blocking plus beam works for the same reason. He body blocked to protect Trunks. Please do. I'm very, very, very interested because my wheelhouse is mostly in French play, but I do watch the Japanese from time to time because Star really, really loves Japanese play. They're very wary about zones. Oh, I got a follow. Thank you so much, Grand Charo, for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the content, my friend. They're very wary about zones. Oh, I see. So, like, I noticed that because, like, the French are very, like, chaotic in a way. Like, it seems like they're aware of zones as well, but they're a lot more likely to aggress. But, really, it's very rare to see Japanese players counter zone 2 super dashes. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's risky, right? Because I feel like at that range, if you mistime it, yeah, that's what I see a lot at high level as well. Reflected. I normally see it reflected. That makes sense. Because I guess if you 2H, like, everyone has a slightly different 2H speed. So if you're kind of late on the draw and you're not ready to 2H, you're gonna get hit. So yeah, I can kind of see it. I actually like that. And I think that everyone reading this chat, you should definitely think about that as well. If you guys are worried about super dashes, Zone 2 super dashes are incredibly strong for that reason. They're very hard to 2H. Exactly. Yeah, this whole interaction is really important. So definitely screenshot this. This is very, very good stuff. They don't always 2H unless they're neutral movement prepared for it beforehand. I agree. Like, it did not seem like Fenrich was ready. Oh, got another follow. Thank you so much, Yami Legolas, for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. Oh, that cross up. Let's go. By the way, I know we're talking about movement, but for my folks that are here from me talking about pressure, which we will still talk about, delay tech. For those of you that notice, I want you guys to notice how few actual 50-50s we've seen so far. There have not been very many. A lot of the touches have either been stray neutral hits, but more importantly, a lot of them have been from basic mix-ups. Even Goichi and Fenrich get hit by those. It happens. Let's see. Yup, delayed tech mash. Let's go. Push to the corner, like we talked about in the Oki Masterclass with Star. We tech that DR, very nice. Cell's mean. Cell's mean. Imagine for pressuring from almost zone 2. Oh, Cell. I miss you. I miss Cell. I really do. I hope we get more Cell screams in the future. Oh, we got the drop. Yep, immediately. This is also very important on Oki, by the way, guys. Yeah, I definitely will. I'll definitely will when I'm done streaming. I'll definitely check it out. So right here, you can actually kind of see Cell's little dome here. But Fenrich realizes that he dropped and realizes that the situation is no longer in his control. Bardock has a beam assist coming back. He still has GT Goku, and he has a very, very strong air-to-ground option. So what does Fenrich do? We're returning to neutral. Get away from this situation. All right. Baits the he baits and avoids the GT assist. He loses neutral anyway, but if your opponent spends assists in neutral, their pressure is a lot less potent. They have less mix-up opportunities. It's harder for them to hide the more difficult to react to stuff. They can't do dirty stuff nowadays like, you know, call beam and then DR. So if you spend your opponent's assist, even if they have really good solo pressure, it's better than blocking an opponent who has both assists behind them. So always keep that in mind. Let's see. You know, I just noticed because I want to have the chat open and the stream is in a window, which is in a window. Oh, okay. That's all right. Yeah. Dirty. Fake cross up. I believe Docta actually talked about this specific situation, which is retreat JS. I think that's where we left the video off. Very, very strong. Yup. Oof. Good defensive backdash. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty. Oh my god, that's so nasty. Imagine Vanish being a mix-up. He spends his double jump, which is why this worked. So, like, there was nothing he really could have done that wouldn't have been a hard commitment. And he tried to commit, because he goes for the super dash. Almost on reaction, or even preemptively maybe, Fenrich vanishes immediately and then calls SSJ Vegeta, so that way he could secure the conversion and kill Bardock. These players are on another level, man. They're just built different, all right? That's a super dash to stop the dash under, isn't it? Yes. A super dash to stop the dash under? Yeah. Oh man. To be fair though, yeah, it is. To be fair though, I mean, not in this particular situation. If you remove the player-to-player aspect and you just look at characters and certain situations, Cell's probably one of the scariest characters to do that to. Like, to actually to super dash his cross-unders, because if he baits that and perfect attacks instead, it's a nasty situation. But in general, it's pretty safe because, like we mentioned before, you have to be ready for it. Oh, the vanish after a double jump plus assist call. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's so freaking crazy. Like, oh my god. Especially with an assist like Vegeta, where he just, like, kind of holds you there and gives you, like, the freest freaking conversion in the world. Like, by the way, Sai, if you're in the chat, welcome to New Cell. Welcome to New Cell, by the way. Nobody talks about this. Yeah, I agree. I actually have not seen that pattern before watching this, but that's something I'm going to have to lab out. That's actually kind of nasty. New Cell. 50-50. Yeah. Very, very good. That's actually something that we can talk about as well, that a lot of people don't know, realize about Fenrich. Fenrich likes covering angles. And I feel like he's one of the few people that does this to great advantage. He moves around a lot, but Fenrich and almost all of his assists, especially between Cell and Vegeta, generally like to cover the I think it's is it the Y-axis? No, it's the XY. It's the Z-axis. Sorry. He likes to cover the Z-axis. Either he likes to cover the diagonals going upwards to counter jump, and he also likes to attack air to ground. And so he always kind of likes to make an X with his assists, which makes it very, very, very difficult because it controls a ridiculous amount of space. And that's something that I really, really like about his particular neutral, because if he calls a beam, that happens. And it's pretty clever. It's very hard to deal with. So on 3 super jump height. Oh, okay. That's actually kind of OD. This pressure is crazy. Yep. Very good. Takes his turn right immediately after the special. There you go. Misses the cross up. That's sad. All right, very nice. You can kind of see the dashes and how they're kind of playing around their each other's zones. They're poking, but then immediately getting out of this. Yeah, there are 6. Yeah, no, I agree. Breaking it down into zones is probably the best thing, I think, that has happened in this community, because it really makes it so abundantly clear. And it gives you almost like a metric of maintaining distance and spaces. Like, when you guys get higher and you guys play different characters and you guys get higher level, the zones still become important, but the zone size doesn't change based on the body type. It changes based on the reach. So, like, for example, your optimal distance to maintain safety from Kefla is going to be a lot larger than most characters, because her 5M is borderline literally a lariat. So, like... Yeah. So base Vegeta assist covers zone 3 super jump height, which stops defensive aerial movement in zone 2 and 3. Yeah, actually that was something I was thinking about. It's one of the low-key strengths of that particular assist, is that it's very, very good for countering jump, and I like seeing it paired with a beam. I think that's actually pretty sick. I played sports my whole life, so explaining it in terms was perfect. I cannot wait to see your play after absorbing that information, and when you start applying it. I guarantee you, you're gonna notice a huge difference. Very nice. Oh no, we have an ad, but you know what? We like Goichi. I won't watch this whole thing because it's a 2-minute ad, one of 2, but ads. There we go. That is so clever. No bullshit. He just immediately goes into the level 3. Don't even bother. That's how you know it was a successful stream. When I see that response, that's the response that I look for when I talk about high-level Dragon Ball. Ideally speaking, when you guys come to my stream, my favorite reaction every single time I want you guys to want to play after watching them. Because, like, a lot of the times I hate the feeling of watching high level play and being like, man, I can never catch up to what these guys are doing. Oh, hi, I'm the marketer, so I'll tell you how to use video links without ads. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't even know you did marketing. I might. That's actually that's a really important skill. I'm a photographer and cinematographer by trade, but I know nothing about. Oh, Fenrich. God, you're OD. There you go. Into level 3. He has half a bar. And he has an assist. Get ready to guess. Oh, Spark. Okay, include the period after the YouTube URL to remove ads. I did it for all links, including the document already, so you could see no ads going through these links. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Thank you. Okay. I didn't even know that worked. That's crazy. Today I learned. I love Vegeta Assist. I love Vegeta Assist. He's actually one of my favorite, like, quote-unquote vanilla characters to play. Vegeta is just amazing. Just dash block plus assist. What did we talk about earlier? Dash block plus assist. It's OD. This is actually top 10 YouTube secrets they don't want you to know about. That's hilarious. Oof, very nice. And there we go. That's a game in Fenrich's favor with a very comfortable life lead. We're going to leave it here, folks, because I would honestly sit here and watch this. I've seen this set like 1,000 times, all 2 hours and 31 minutes of it. I love watching high level play, so I'll be here the entire time if I have to, but that's probably not productive. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm gonna leave in a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna leave immediately, but if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask. I know we just covered a huge topic. This is probably my most requested topic of all time. Like, this is probably, so many people have actually asked me for this. So if you guys have any questions, feel free. I am really comfortable here asking questions. If you guys have any questions for Damn Doctor as well, you're more than welcome to ask them, and I'll read it on stream. By most requested, he means Ken keeps watching us play and is sick and tired of our terrible neutral. You know, normally I would laugh at that joke, but I'm actually not kidding when I say it's my most requested. When I started streaming, I was doing some, like, a scaled down version of this in the Kefla chord. And in the Kefla chord, everyone always asked me, when are you covering neutral? When are you covering neutral? When are you covering neutral? And I'm like, nah, I can't. This is too much. And then, when Star and I were first starting to do this, we were like, at what point do we cover neutral? And both of us were kind of dreading it because both of us were like, oh, that's really, really, really complicated. They should probably know how to pressure first because, we want them to get used to interacting with their opponent and changing the way they play based on what their opponent does, doing something that's preemptive, doing, something that's reactive, doing something that's bait. And so that's why we laid down the foundation with pressure first, but neutral was always the one thing where we were like, we knew it was going to be a big topic. And it wasn't like, I don't normally script these masterclasses. I normally keep like a bullet point so that way I can try to stay on track. This was one of the first ones where it's almost fully scripted. Like, I free flowed obviously the conversational tone, but I have my chapters, I have my bullet points for different things that I wanted to go over. I have my homework, and then I even had my structure for this particular thing. It was a lot. I'm glad you are stepping out and doing this for the community. You're amazing. Thank you so much. It's something that I really, really enjoyed doing. It actually helps me get better as well. I really wanted to introduce the story of how this started is actually funny. I started Star and I ended up friends, and Star is a pretty high level player. So Star is a fairly high level player, and we met, and he was willing to endure lag to play me. He lives in France. Surprisingly, we only got 5 frames, and it was incredibly stable. So even though you're not really teching any DRs, it was still comfortable enough where I could effectively learn the game against him, and he would teach me everything he knew, and I just absorbed everything. I just absorbed everything to just try to I really, really, really wanted to learn the game. And at a certain point, he and we decided to try doing this, and I started teaching what he taught me, and then I started teaching him, and it became like a back and forth and became a lot more mutual. And now we're both we're both so much stronger players than we were when we first started this. So I'm super, super, super hard. I'm super, 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 it's heartwarming to have that journey with him. And I really, really enjoy, I actually enjoy what we're doing here. So this was something I always wanted to do, for sure. But I feel like I kind of cheated because, streams don't normally grow this fast, but this stream was literally by request. Everyone's like, are you streaming on Twitch? Are you streaming on Twitch? I'm like, fine, I'll do it. I know nothing about streaming, to be honest. Let's see. Little column A, little column B. Yeah. Neutral is probably the deepest concept for me. Neutral is the deepest part of most fighting games. And it's also one of the hardest things to grasp in Dragon Ball for anyone. Not just someone who's new to the game. It's also very challenging for FGC veterans. Because if you're not... The way Dragon Ball applies concepts that are similar in every other fighting game is very, very weird and unique to it. And everything that I could teach you that transposes over to other fighting games comes with the caveat of, but Super Dash. Super Dash is an interesting mechanic that I would love to talk about. And, I have a lot of masterclasses planned up, and Super Dash is one of those topics. So I'm very excited to talk about those. Let's see. Oh, that preparation is incredible. Thank you so much. Movement, the only thing I can get right in every set. Yeah. You know what? If Damn Doctor ever saw you play, you would actually confirm it, Everlyn. Your movement is actually really good. You are naturally applying a lot of these concepts already. Fun fact for me, the way I broke down DBZ is the same way I broke down Street Fighter 4. It helps you learn. Tell me if I'm wrong. It helps you learn the game. You end up a better player analyzing the game and teaching it to others. Breaking the game down into smaller parts just makes it easier to absorb all of this information. My biggest question at the moment is the terms of movement. Should there be a goal behind your movement, whether it be a reaction to get in, calling an assist with your movement? Your approach should always have a reason. Yes. Asterisk. You want a goal implies a lot of active thought. Once you kind of get comfortable moving around a lot, and once you get comfortable observing your opponent's habits, you could start building strategies around it. That's very advanced, however, because that comes when you're very, 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 very smart, and you're very, very, very knowledgeable about the game because you've played it for so long. But in general, whenever you see high level play, there's a lot of intentionality in everything that they do. There's also a lot of mistakes. Once you kind of understand this, the intentionality, you begin to notice when they mess up. And you can also tell when someone's just winging it. It's hard to explain, but there's a big difference between Goichi when Goichi goes in with a plan, and when Goichi's like, all right, I fucked up. How do I salvage this? So in general, you do kind of want to have an idea of what you want to do, I would say, more so than a plan, because your opponent also has a plan. And their plan might be counter to your plan that you've been planning as you try to plan around their plan, and it gets a little crazy. But I think it's good to have an idea of what you want to do, and I think it's good to employ certain strategies to get certain reactions. So, for example, we were talking about this earlier, but it's doing something like this, like, there's no guarantee that my opponent's going to super dash me, but it's here because I want my opponent to super dash me, and they kind of have to do something because I'm building meter. So if they don't super dash me, I need to convert this, so I need to get in. You know, I need to close the distance, I need to do something, you know, maybe not that, but generally speaking, you need to, you kind of want to have an idea of what to do. You don't want to just do this and not understand what this is for. Because at that point, even if you end up being right and your opponent you end up being correct and your opponent does super dash for you, you're not going to be ready to convert that because you're like, wait, why did they super dash at me? Well, it's because it's very simple. So, in a way, yes, you do generally want to have an idea. And whenever I do something in neutral, it usually is because I have a reason for it. Like, if I super jump like this, I'm baiting something. Like, I'm trying to avoid assists. I'm trying to reposition my character. I don't super jump very often, but if I'm doing this, you know, I want to maybe do that because I notice my opponent's just sitting there. So I'm like, okay, he's ready for me, but how ready is he? And then I call an assist and then super dash because, you know, even if they 2H, the assist sometimes gets there in time and prevents them from converting. And sometimes they're not ready because they just saw the assist call, and then it's a whole lot of nuance there. Damn Doctor says, intention is everything, but if you have no reads, build reads by having strong pattern recognition, a lot of which can be character specific. Test your threat after seeing habits. React to your test. If the test fails, retreat and reevaluate. 100%. I actually want to screen cap that and pin it in the Discord. Legit. 100%. That is very, very, very important. You want to recognize their patterns, and you start getting an idea of what they want to do. Like, it's sort of like learning a language, almost. And everything that a player says communicates something about it. And the more fluent they are, the easier it is for them to be understood. Which is why Fenrich and Goichi's play is so interesting. It's why I love watching Wanted, and it's why high-level DBFZ is really interesting. Is because you're essentially watching a debate, a video game debate. Like, you're essentially watching a debate. Like, Wawa, for example. The cool thing is like, that's another thing that's very important because I wanna make sure I preemptively capture this. No one moves the same. No one has the same instinct. No one pressures the same. We're giving you building blocks the same way I'm teaching you vocabulary for a language. I'm teaching you the rules of the language. I'm teaching you grammar. I'm teaching you, different words you can use. But this is by no means a blueprint in how to play. Every situation, every opponent, every game between two opponents is going to carry a very, very, very different level. What worked today will not work tomorrow. What worked tomorrow will not, or what would work tomorrow might not work today. You need to have the fluidity of a language, and you need to be able to have a conversation. That's one of the reasons why I use the term conversation when analogizing neutral and pressure. It's because you are literally talking to your opponent without even realizing it. Like, if I'm doing this, if my opponent understands me, they know this is super dash bait, so the way they're going to respond is, okay, that's bait. What if I dash forward and call an assist? Or what if I dash forward and then do something like this, and then come in with a special, and they're paying attention to the way you're moving, and then you move forward, and then they move back, and then it's a conversation. Exactly. It's a language. Movement is simply questions. You have the answers if you aren't forced to guess, quite literally. Yeah, exactly. So that's why, that's kind of why you might run into trouble if you guys don't really fully understand this, is because when you guys are playing people that are a lot better than you, they're trying to ask you questions, and you're just replying with the equivalent of, huh? What's happening? What are they saying? And because you don't know, and sometimes maybe you understand enough of the language, so you start saying stuff, but maybe you don't really know what it means, and it comes out very awkward because you're not responding to what their question is correctly. And you need to have the right answers. It's a quiz. It's a debate. They're interrogating your thought process. And if you don't know how to communicate your intentions, you are going to be a victim of theirs. Like, that's why I try to, like, even though I present this, please don't go and look at my videos or my streams, and please don't go look at Goichi and be like, okay, well, Goichi does this, so this means it always works. It doesn't. It really depends on the situation. You must know a lot of answers, but if you don't know what's going on, you will be forced to guess literally by losing neutral and blocking. Yes. 100%. Someone help. Don't worry. You're already doing amazing, Alvin, by being in the stream, by taking a proactive opportunity to try to learn neutral, to even try to decipher this, to study this. Like, you're already miles ahead of most people. Like, that's something that you should be proud of. Not a lot of people invest the time to learn this game, or worse, they learn incorrectly, and then they get really, 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 really deep in the way that they like to learn, and then are shocked when the way they like to learn doesn't quite map out to high level play. So the fact that you are already the fact that you're already recognizing, like, your what you don't know is such a huge advantage. Like, yeah, you are in a really good place right now. But this is movement's great. There are times where I will literally just sit in the lab and then, like, because I play on stick, I'm not completely comfortable with it. Doing stuff like this, like dash, you know, like this is actually pretty tough. You can see I'm messing it up from time to time. Like, nobody's perfect, but you definitely want to, for those of you that are interested in doing the homework, make sure you practice your movements. Like, I'll start with these basic patterns, the ones that I said before, the dash block, ID forward and back, dash jump forward, and the double jump for bait. You want to practice those and make sure you have those down pat, because those are the most common ones that you're going to use. You guys saw Goichi and Fenrich use it. This isn't just I'm learning this so that way I can learn the real tech. This is the real tech. Movements. One of the reasons why I love watching Japanese play is because it's incredibly simple. That doesn't mean easy, and that doesn't mean brain dead. It means they use what works. If this works, they're going to use it. You know, if this works, they're going to use it. If they, and honestly, you know, if they do something like moon jump, I don't even think I can do it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's hard. But there you go. You guys have a pretty good understanding of you guys have a very good foundation. The biggest thing that you have to understand, the biggest advice that I can give you is don't focus too much on yourself to the point where you forget to focus on your opponent. That's not really a thing for movement. That's a thing for just in general playing the game. Pay attention to your opponent and treat it like a conversation. Your opponent has something to say. A fighting game usually is a two-player game. You have to interact with them, and they will tell you what works and what doesn't. So while I pressure someone with a lot of dash resets like this, some of you might mash, but others, this is going to beta reflect. And it's my job as somebody who's pressuring to figure that out. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, this game has a lot of... because it's very fast. But I love doing that. I really do. So fun. But... there you go. Like, you guys are already in a good place. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully this cleared up a lot of misconceptions about neutral. I don't know when we'll do the next neutral guide, per se, because this is such a broad topic. Oh, yeah. This is such a broad topic. There is a lot to cover here. Like the damn doctor can tell you, this is this is a whole ass series worth of stuff. Like I can literally make a YouTube channel dedicated to talking about Neutral and DBFC. And then I would have to update it every year, or sometimes every half year, because of balance changes to the game, which can easily change the meta. I would have to keep track of new movement patterns and whatnot, like the super jump. Like, you'll notice if you watch Season 1, you see super jump stuff, like super jump IEDs, a lot less than you do now. Like, you wouldn't see stuff like this. Like, even in Damn Doctor's video, you see mostly, like, normal IEDs. Now you see super jump IEDs. Now you see float stuff for delayed overhead. Like, there's so much you can do here at this point. The game is constantly changing. So, yeah. I don't think we will visit this topic again for at least 2 weeks. At least till after the sub-tournament. Because I honestly think this is enough. If you guys can get by and master what we talked about in this video, I guarantee you, your play is going to be in a different place already. Like, I can promise you that. Woo! Let's see. Thank you so much for the follow, Scrappy Flaco. Really, really appreciate it, my man. I hope you enjoy what you guys are watching. And obviously, guys, don't forget to sub if you want hands-on advice and access to the Discord from me and Star. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for you guys. I do have to make an adjustment to my stream schedule. I actually completely forgot that I have IRL work on Friday, so I'll probably have to find a different day to have Star on. So I'm sorry about that, guys. It is a holiday weekend, and then my birthday's on Monday, so we'll see. Is the alert box hidden? Probably. Probably. Let me have the alert box on the top. There we go. There we go. That should work. I'm not sure how it went all the way down there, to be honest. Just come see Friday Night Fights, guys. Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to watch some interesting fights with Heartburner Hannah, I definitely recommend following her stream. It's really, really, really cool. I tend to be there from time to time, mostly a little bit more off the cuff, and let's be there. I'm just there to roast people. Oh, they say hi, by the way. They can hear you in the background.
Oh, hi. They probably heard my joke.
What joke? I didn't hear the joke.
Yeah, because I whispered it so you wouldn't hear it.
You made it.
You know what kind of joke I made.
I don't know. But yeah.
I'll tell you after.
Alright, cool. But yeah. You know what? Since you brought it up and whatnot, Damn Doctor, if you want and you ever have some free time and I'm on stream and whatnot, you're welcome to come on. And you can definitely help if you want with this series. Like, this series is I tend to do this with like a co-host and whatnot. And, you know, Star and I are in completely different time zones. So it's kind of hard for us to coordinate from time to time. But I think that you know, if you want to come in and talk about Neutral, we definitely can. Yeah, please do. I welcome it. Ken only comes in on the rare occasion he's free, and probably only doing when I'm doing a game he likes. So not Street Fighter like it usually is. I do enjoy Street Fighter. I enjoy watching Street Fighter 5 a lot. I don't enjoy playing Street Fighter 5, but I enjoy watching it quite a bit. Like, I like games that are really simple and legible. I am in Central Standard Time. I am in Chicago. For those of you that are fellow Illinoisans. That's very important to me. Like, that's a bit of a hot take for me in fighting games. I only play, quote unquote, oh, what's good? Madison, Wisconsin. That's close. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. Also, thanks for the follow, my man. But yeah. Wisconsin. Hey. They have cheese. It's me. I'm a fellow. Oh, word? Yo, let's go. Local when? I see you in the Beerus Discord a lot. My Beerus is rusty AF. I need to get good with him again. If you guys want to help me in some offline matches when COVID's over.
Wait, are you actually encouraging people to live in Wisconsin?
No.
I was gonna say, what's wrong with you?
Calm down. They have some. I love snow. Hey, don't diss my snow. I love my snow.
I do. I've lived in Chicago my whole life. I do, in fact, know what's up.
Hey, we could talk about the Bears record if you want. Oh.
I mean, I don't follow football. I'm more hockey.
Oh man, I love some Chicago. Some of my favorite people are from Chicago. I'm from New York. Ah, nice. Probably the. Is it all right if I say it? I mean, let's face it. New York is probably the strongest region for American Dragon Ball. To be honest, and Chicago's okay. It's Wisconsin I have beef with. The only game I don't play, Grappler.
To be fair, everyone has beef with Wisconsin. The only good thing that come out of Wisconsin is their cheese.
Hey, you know what? I don't have a dog in this fight. She doesn't represent my views. She does not represent the official views of Weiss Training Grounds. We love Wisconsin's here.
Yeah, he can love Wisconsin's. I've had to deal with them my whole life.
The only good thing that come out of Wisconsin is my GF.
You know, that's fair. There are a few good people to come out of Wisconsin.
Do you think East Coast is stronger than West Coast in the U.S.? Listen. The East Coast has Sonic Fox and had the Kill Sage. And Nitro is probably one of the most talented DBFZ players right now to come out of the United States. Yeah, so I would definitely give it to East Coast. But I'm not going to diss West Coast like that. Jonathan Tene is amazing. I agree. I 100% agree. Like, there's high level, and then there's, like, world class. Most of the world class players are in the East Coast. You could have just said it has Sonic Fox. I mean, to be fair, yeah. Yeah, I really could have. Yeah, but, I mean, Nitros is amazing. Nitros is an incredible Kefla player, or used to be a Kefla player. Sad. But, yeah.
That I'm dissing Wisconsin while I'm making tea.
That's so fun. I don't know why. I've been doing that in the lab all day, and I don't know why I find that as fun as it. It has
Doesn't even matter how hard you try.
It really doesn't. I mean, like, well, he's not even getting hit. I love it. It's so good. Even the East Coast recognizes that. Looks. I can't do Aspiros rejumps anymore. Practice. To be honest, that used to happen to me when I was learning Blue Ku loops. When I was a Blue Goku player, that used to happen to me a lot. Like, if I don't practice Beerus's rejumps now, like, I actually tend to forget them. I'm so out of practice with this character right now. Might just need a break, honestly. Oh, yeah. Getting used to a new controller is hard. I can't even do the hard one. Alright, yeah. Probably could have delayed that a little bit more. Yep. Yep. That's so fun. That's so fun. Oops, I messed up the thingy. It is really fun. It's like I'll sometimes do it just because I can. I can now have a conversation. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how you guys play, especially with all this information. I'm very excited to see you guys grow. But yeah. That's why I kept, like, that's why I verbally tell you things, or I'm like, that was a bad interaction, even if I lost the interaction, I'll often tell you, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that, even if you lost. Mostly because it's like I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm just like, you just said a curse word in a language you do not understand. You might want to avoid that. You know? Like Gogeta's fun. Oh, missed it. Now I'll curse with intentionality. I would love to see a translation between DBSZ and Street Fighter. You know what? Yeah. Hannah, get on that. You're the only one who can. Oops. That's actually kind of cursed, to be honest. That assist hides so much. Oh my god. Oh, let's see. I had to do breakdown DBOC, so I would love to see it done for someone else when I taught DBOC to school players. Ooh. How do I feel about Gogeta with Beerus A? Big meh. It's good. It's good. I like it, but I think B is probably better. I'm just too set in my ways because I'm not really huge with B. Because this is my main team, but with Gogeta instead of Blue Goku. And Blue Goku just gets so much mileage off of, like, Beerus, because I just doing stuff like, I miss being able to do stuff like this. Oh, I messed up. I'm rusty. Leave me alone. Like, links like that, like, that's so freaking fun. And Gogeta can't really make use of that very much. So it's like, kind of, you lose. I know how to use it in neutral, so... There we go. Something like that. You know, like, stuff like that really helps the super dash conversions as well, because it's like... You know, something like that. And then, of course, like, with Blue Goku, you know... Oops, did it too soon. Big damage off of command grab. I can't even do loops anymore. Pain. That is true. One thing that can be said about DBOC is that it has very strong defensive options. Oops, what's that? Let's see. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I wouldn't say Beerus A is as good for Gogeta. I should probably play B, but I don't want to. Oh, hold on, my bad. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I would imagine ranges is better nomenclature in Street Fighter because, like, the screen is so much smaller than it is in DBFZ. Like, DBFZ actually has, like, a massive screen, and then you have insane mobility within that screen, so I feel like zones is more accurate to DBFZ. Oh, yeah, it exists. Yeah. Oh, I messed up. Since I played in 09, most people didn't have the names for... Oh, that's kind of sick. Mashing auto combo, let's go. wonder. Actually, yeah, honestly, B might be better for Gogeta. Yeah. But can I... Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. This is just too good. No, honestly, I shouldn't do it because Kefla. Like, Kefla loves really fast assists. Time to practice combos that I haven't practiced in like 3 days. And I'm rusty because I rust easily. Yeah, let's go! Second try. Oh, pain. You know, that's actually a really good idea for a project, Meta Skipper. I would love to do that. I would love to actually sit down with some really intelligent people and really good Street Fighter players and people who play both, I guess, and actually kind of translate and create like a Super Dash handbook, we'll call it. How to Super Dash intelligently. Do it. Do it. Do it. I'll help. We'll do it together. Let's go. Let's go. The Super Dash handbook. Neutral. Neutral. I keep wanting to confirm that incorrectly. Oh, you already did it! Sick! That's true. If you're referring to your videos, I agree. If not, I might be missing something, and I need to see this handbook then. I need to study. Oh, that's sick. Oh. Oh, it's your own guide. Okay. Cool. I don't know why people are never surprised if I tell them that if I played like Street Fighter 5 I would play like Karin or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the Kefla player plays Karin, got it." And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Thank you, Nightbot. Maybe. Because Poison doesn't have Zoom Zoom. And I kind of need Zoom Zoom, so. But, yeah. It's gonna be a long VOD. But... Oh, so I created the handbook guide, and the videos I made on YouTube were based on the guide I already have. Oh, that's sick. That explains it, because it feels like the videos feel like they're highly condensed. You know what I mean? Like they feel like they're like distillations of like distillations, like kind of like a TLDR. You know what I mean? And it feels like it's like, all right, let me explain real quick in a 13-minute video or in a 3-part series how. By the way. I don't know if I mentioned this. Your editing is amazing. Like the actual editing on your videos is actually kind of crazy. I knew they would be. I was looking at this and I'm like, there's too much here. There's too much here. Pain. But yeah. The original video was like 30 minutes. I would have watched all 30. Legit. I would have watched all 30. Yeah, you know what? That's actually not a super, super bad idea. I do want to leave it here so that way the VOD doesn't run over too long. Please consult the VOD if you guys have anything that... please consult the VOD if you guys want any other... if you guys want to review any of the information. Those of you that are in the Discord and all of my subscribers, you will be receiving additional supplemental material. I will be adding Doc's stuff, like his videos, to the resources section of that Discord, so that way you guys can consult that as well, because it is amazing. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your play evolve here, guys, because I'm curious. Tomorrow night we do have ring match evaluations coming up. We will have it shortly after maintenance. And if possible, I want to get Top Tie as the angel trainee. That will take care of everything. But we will see what happens. I look forward to seeing you guys develop. I look forward to seeing you guys develop. And yeah, guys, take it easy. And of course, you know, always be moving and always be blocking. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Damn Doctor, you are welcome anytime on the stream. Just let me know. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Top Tie is a menace, oh my lord. Yeah, a little bit. Kind of curious to see you guys deal with his brand of insanity. But hey, if you guys can move well, you guys have a chance. So, time to practice that movement in less than a day. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, guys. This is Ken here, signing off soon. Good night.